Okay, just real quickly, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We've talked about radians and degrees, talked about points and angles. We are going to move ahead and talk about negative and coterminal angles, and that should be a pretty quick discussion. So first of all, let's look at negative angles and angles that are greater than 2 pi. So first, we talked about standard angles, standard form angles, I guess we call them, starting at 0 on the positive x-axis side. If we move in a counterclockwise direction, that gives us our positive angles. This is one of the reasons why quadrants are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so back in 7th grade or whenever you learn that, we never really discussed the reason why it's numbered that way. But that's why we number those in such an odd fashion. So what we want to do here is we want to talk about negative angles first. So if the counterclockwise direction gives us positive angles, then the clockwise direction will give us negative angles. So whereas this is pi over 6, in the positive direction, moving down or moving in a clockwise manner from 0 would give me negative pi over 6, very similar to the number line. You know, on the number line to the right is positive, to the left is negative. Well, clockwise and counterclockwise give us the same associations here. So for instance, this is pi over 2, this would be negative pi over 2. Pretty simple how that works, and it goes all the way around. As far as you want to go, it goes all the way around. So that's negative angles. Let's now look at angles that are greater than 2 pi. So far we've talked about going all the way around the circle in both directions, positive and negative. But when we stopped, we went and finished at 2 pi. Well, if you're using the pi over 6 circle, for instance, you'd count all the way around to 11, 12, pi over 6. If we keep going, so I start here, I go all the way around, but then I keep going, that's 2 pi. Keep going, since 2 pi is the same as 12 pi over 6, this one would be 13 pi over 6. Go another pi over 6 would be 14 pi over 6. Of course, 14 pi over 6 would simplify to 7 pi over 3. We don't use these that often, but in the real world, this is an application that we would use, pretty frequently. If you think about turning of a screw, we want, the number of revolutions to definitely be more than 1 a lot of times, or gears, lots of things that we could use angles greater than 2 pi to do. So it goes in the positive direction. You can also go in the negative direction if you like. Start at 0, go around once, that's 2, negative 2 pi. Let's say I want to keep going. That angle right there is a pi over 6, so that'd be 12 pi over 6 right here. 13, 14, 15, 16, negative 16 pi over 6. That simplifies to negative 8 pi over 3. So we can do it both directions, works the same way. So negative angles and angles greater than 2 pi or less than negative 2 pi can be used. Last thing we want to talk about real quickly is coterminal angles. So we've got a definition here. And the definition of a coterminal angle or coterminal angles are angles in standard position. So we know that means they start right here with a common terminal side are called coterminal angles. I'll give you an example. Pi over 6 is an angle, but suppose I start at 0 and go in the opposite direction and end up at the same place. Well, that angle is going to be negative. It's going to be negative 11 pi over 6. So I could say that's also negative 11 pi over 6. They have the same point that we'll associate with them on the unit circle, which will come in handy later, but they stop at the same terminal side. They have the same terminal side. So therefore, they're called coterminal angles. We'll try another one. Let's say I want negative 3 pi over 4. Right away, you're probably thinking, well, that's a positive angle. That is, let's see, that's going to be 5 pi over 4. We can even go one further. We can find as many as you want. I can go all the way around to 2 pi and just keep going until I get back to that angle. So let's see, that would be 8 pi over 4 right here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pi over 4. So 13 pi over 4 is also a coterminal angle with the other two. So coterminal angles are just angles that ended the same place but got there in a different manner, a different way. They might have gone more than one revolution, they might have gone in the opposite direction, but they end up at the same place. So the next step is, after we kind of maybe have a little review, the next step is to see why we do all this stuff, why we learned all this, and that's what we'll be doing next.